Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of Prime Prospects. Nat Edwards and draft guru Cal Twomey with you on afl.com.au.
You've been describing yourself as the voice of September.
No, I haven't.
It's November now, so your time to shine has come and gone. But the Phantom Form Guide's here. It's really exciting.
I know. I'm so excited for your final instalment of your Phantom Form Guide. Now, we must reiterate that this is not a Phantom draft. It's just a guide.
Yeah, the draft will come next week, and that's when we sort of pin where the players are going to go, potentially, hopefully, is our correct predictions. But this is just a look at who we think are the best 30 players in this year's draft pool. So it doesn't take into account where the bids might come or where they might fall. It might link up occasionally, but this is just my view on who the best 30 are in this year's 2018 draft crop.
All right, let's get straight into it. And the first crop we're going to look at, Kieran Briggs. This is the one that caught my eye, the GWS Academy Ruckman.
Yep.
He's now in the top 30 for the first time.
Yeah, we see his details there. He's a big fella. He's 200 centimetres tall and weighs a bit too. So he's a guy who can come in and play some footy next year. He's an aggressive, imposing ruckman. He was the All-Australian ruckman for the Allies after a great under-18 championships for them. So really shone at that point of view. He's the best ruckman in the pool. So that's why clubs are looking at him and seeing him as the best option if they do want to add to their ruck depth at the draft next week. As you said, he's tied to the Giants as an academy selection, but it'd be interesting to see where a bid does come because the Crows have shown some interest. Do they jump at him at pick 16? Do they go at pick 21 to add some depth to their ruck stocks behind Sam Jacobs? But I think at that point, the Giants will face a pretty big decision on whether they match it because they need the ruck stocks too. A good prospect in Kieran Briggs.
Excellent news for Kieran Briggs inside Cal Twomey's top 30 for the first time.
I'm sure that's the most exciting part of his week, yeah.
All right, moving on. And at 25, we have Xavier Dersma. Will Kelly comes in at 24. Ned McHenry, 23. He's up a couple of spots from October.
Yeah, one of my favourites, Ned. He's a little gun. He's a small player, as we've seen across the season. He's only that 178 sort of centimetres size, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in effort. He's the hardest working midfielder you see in terms of his running. He's an elite endurance runner, so that's what gives him an opportunity to get involved in games throughout games. He's tenacious, he's in your face, he's in every little scrap and every little battle that pops up, but he can play as a midfielder and that's where that run and carry does come through. He can also go as a small forward where he offers great forward pressure, and we saw that in his games for Vic Country as well, where he kicked a couple of goals there. So he's often the guy who sort of collects 7 to 8 tackles. So he really provides that tenacious approach wherever he's around the ball, and he's a real spark too. So a good personality in Ned McHenry.
All right, going inside your top 20 now, we have Riley West at 20. Liam Stocker coming in at 19. He did miss the combine, but it just seems like he's got better and better throughout the year.
Yeah, he has, and I think that's been partly because of the opportunity he was provided at the end of the season, towards the end of the season in that Sandringham Dragons midfield. He missed the under-18 championships with a broken jaw, so had to come back and make an impact after that, and he did that. He averaged 22 disposals, which was 12 contested, and also 6 clearances a game for the Dragons this year. So he's a bull-looking, strong-bodied midfielder. Big size, so he's a guy who'll be playing some senior footy next year. Has to improve his running a little bit, that running from stoppage to stoppage, but what he does do is just find the footy, and he can deliver it well on both feet. So a good prospect, somewhere in the top 20 on draft night, you'd think.
At 15, we have Chase Jones, Isaac Quaynor into 14, Taron Thomas 13. Zach Butters is the one that piqued my interest here because the midfielder has moved up one spot.
Yeah, one spot. I'm a big fan of Zach Butters. He's been a little bit out of sight, out of mind for some people, I think, but that's because of that shoulder injury that he had throughout the year. Then after the championships finished, he went and had surgery on it, so I haven't seen him play since then. He didn't test at the combine, but he's a classy half forward. He probably starts his career as a small forward, but I think in time we'll see him play in the midfield. A little bit of David Zaharakis about him, the way he moves with the footy, delivers it well, doesn't waste the disposal, and can use it when he's going forward too. So a really smart, crafty player, and I think a lot of clubs around that sort of 8 to 15 range like Zach Butters there.
Looking at the top 10 now, and Jordan Clark, he makes it in.
Yep.
Jai Caldwell at 9, Nick Blakey, Ben King and Connor Rozee, of course. But Jai Caldwell, he's had an injury-riddled year, but you still think top 10.
Yeah, I sort of have had him around that 10 to 13 mark across the whole season. Some people say he's been a bit of a bolter, but look back and where we had him at the start of our Phantom Form Guide in July was at 13, so he's always been around that mark. I think what you like with Jai Caldwell is just his ability to find the footy. He's so powerful and aggressive at the stoppages and at the clearances. He backs himself to go and win the footy, and that doesn't mean that he's overly confident in that respect, but he just goes and gets it out. He's a tough player, he's explosive, and I think a lot of clubs in that top 10 are looking at him.
top 5.
This
is the business end. Oh, it is fantastic. Bailey Smith at 5, Max King at 4, Isaac Rankin, Jack Lukosius, and your number 1 in your Phantom Form Guide for 2018 is Sam Walsh, and he's been there for a little while now.
He has. I think the overriding thing about Sam Walsh is just his consistency and his ability to find the ball. And he's a midfielder who you can back in and lock in to play a lot of good footy at AFL level over a consistent period of time. So he averaged 32 touches at TAC Cup level this year, then averaged 29 in the Under-18 Championships where he was voted the best player off the carnival, won the Lark Medal. He's tough. He's an amazing runner. He doesn't waste his disposals. He's consistent, reliable, good outside run, but he also complemented that this year with some inside footy too. So a great mix, and I think he's the outstanding player of this year's draft class. That's Sam Walsh.
So that is your Phantom Form Guide done and dusted for 2018. Well done.
Thank you.
You've done a great body of work. I cannot believe, wow, really, we're just days away from the 2018 NAB AFL draft.
It's amazing. It's been a long time coming, and we're overly excited about it. But yeah, next week's a big one, isn't it? Because on Tuesday we'll have our fandom draft.
Yes.
So that'll
all
come
the
out
pressure on you.
Yeah, that'll come out on Tuesday night. And then on Wednesday we'll have our late mail. So we'll have a second crack at it there, see if any more has come to light. But it's really interesting this year, Nat, because clubs are holding a lot closer to their chest what their cards are going to be because of the ability to trade.
Yep.
And there's a lot of clubs in that top rung with multiple picks. So some toing and froing going on, some games being played, and we're just trying to work out which way it goes. But look, it's going to be really exciting next week. It
is, and of course we should remind you that the draft this year will take place over 2 days. Of course, Thursday night on November 22, we'll have full coverage of the first round right here on afl.com.au, and then we're back again on Friday at Marvel Stadium for full coverage of the second round. Of course, the rookie draft also taking place on that day, and we'll have it all for you right here on afl.com.au.